Hey guys, welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi guys.
And tonight we are reviewing that pop culture movie called Tank Girl that was released in 1995.
Yes, guys. This was really it's sort of my sort of stuff because I went back to the. I was a musician in the punk era, and this is about the same period. Had this sort of punk culture came out, and I think really that's the part that gets me in this movie.
I first seen this movie back when Mike here, he owned a movie theatre
For a short period of
for a
time.
short period of time, and this is the first one of many movies we watched when we were down there.
Exactly.
I won't mention where it is. I mean, this is
That's ancient history.
It's
anyway.
ancient history now.
Anyway, I'll just go through the written blah 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 stuff. Okay, it was written by Teddy Sarafian, I believe that's the right pronunciation, based on the British post-apocalyptic comic series of the same name, written by Alan Martin and Jamie Hewlett. Originally published in Deadline magazine. Anyway, directed by Rachel Talalay, and produced by Richard B. Lewis, Penn Desham, and John Watson. Now, I will mention this part straight away now because I'm surprised.
What's that?
The budget was 25 million and only boxed office at 6 mil. Now, I'm sorry. It might not be to everyone's taste, this sort of movie, even back in those days, back in 1995. But I don't think it was a bad movie. Yeah, maybe it just wasn't advertised properly. I really don't know.
Yeah. When you were owned a movie theatre, how did you find out about it?
I knew about it.
I just meant.
No, I knew about the movie existed. So yeah, it was just we got it in, and yeah. It was fine, and everyone liked it. It's sort of like Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's sort of, not everyone likes it, but it gets cult following, and I think this sort of comes in that thing like it's a cultish type movie. So
Yes.
Anyway, do you want to do the cast now?
Why not?
Okay, I shall do the cast. Okay, cast. Now, the main leading lady is Laurie Petty. She plays Tank Girl. Now, if this was a straight movie with no comedy, I don't think it would have worked. But this was a very tongue-in-cheek sci-fi comedy, and I can't think of anybody else to do the job better.
I was
than
reading
Laurie.
when she was auditioning for this role. When she looked at the script, she says that this is definitely her role. Like, she was made for this role.
Actually, I read somewhere too that she was chosen, someone else was chosen before her, but it was too straight. And they sacked her, I won't mention any names, and they took Laurie Petty on because she was already a bit wacko. Not being rude, Laurie.
A good wacko.
A good wacko, and a bit crazy enough to live the part, and you brought it to life. It was a fun movie. Anyway,
right.
Naomi Watts, one of her, I think it was her first major role as Get Girl. Ice-T played one of the medical rippers, which is like
Part kangaroo, part human.
a DNA experiment done by the
Considering
government.
this it's based in Australia or
Wait a
taken
minute, forget
to Australia, you'll
where-
get the idea.
Yes, it's based in Australia, but I'm just trying to get. He was the leader of the Rippers, or one of the leaders of the Rippers, which are a kangaroo mutant sort of race, made by the government to be super soldiers and then discarded. Malcolm McDowell, the nasty guy, and I must admit, Malcolm McDowell makes a good nasty guy, and now he plays a guy called Keesley, who's in charge of the water company there. W and P.
Water and power.
Yeah, water and power.
That's the word.
Because after a particular time, we had some meteors hit the Earth during this movie and dry up all the water and stuff and everything. So everything's gone.
And
There's no
water is sort of like the
liquid gold almost.
liquid gold in this movie.
And it's hard, Without the water, there's no food. So yeah, and this guy
Yeah.
wants to be in charge of all of it. Now, actually, Sarah said it was made in Australia. Well, it's based in Australia, but it was made in America.
I just meant that
Yeah.
that considering this story, it takes place in the
Yeah,
outback.
I know that, but it's actually said in the storyline it's actually supposed to be in Australia, even though it did in Mexico. Yeah, whatever.
Clearly.
Yeah, well, that sort of stuff. So anyway, do you want to take over and start telling the story
Yeah.
thereof?
Just another thing about this movie is that, let me see, that when they were doing the actual location shooting for it, I found out some interesting things where they did many scenes were filmed in an abandoned open pit mine,
Yeah.
where filming had to be
Hold-
halted
hold-
one day during chemical leak.
Okay, chemical leak somewhere.
Permission
Yeah.
was received to film the water pipe scenes at the Missile Museum.
And then they turned around and said no, they had to find somewhere else to do it.
No, it says near the mine, but the day before shoot, permission was withdrawn. Those scenes were filmed instead in a tunnel at the abandoned mine. New sets were often found by simple searching the mine.
Yeah, so it was really handy.
Meaning they had to do a lot of groundwork when it came to looking for new spots to shoot.
Well, yeah, but you already had sets made up to, so yeah, you just use what was there a lot of the
Yeah.
time. So it was
And
great.
another thing is that Steven Spielberg was asked to produce the film, but declined because he was not. He described that he was not hip enough to do this sort of thing, and this led
Hey,
to.
we think you're hip enough, Steve.
And this led on to a stupid slogan that the film was called "Too Hip for Steven Spielberg." I don't think that's the appropriate term because he didn't turn it down. Maybe he didn't.
I don't think he could see the image in his head to make a good movie out of
Yeah,
it.
that's the thing about directors. They're artists. They know
exactly
what they
right.
want to see in their
Yeah,
head. You
it's
can't.
like if you can't see it in your head or feel it
Yeah.
inside you, I've got a passion. It ain't going to come out any good. And,
Yeah.
and he knew he probably couldn't do
Yeah.
a good job on this movie because it wasn't his style of movie.
Exactly. I mean, it's not. I just think that very term is not really a nice thing to
Yeah,
say.
that's not very
It's like
nice.
saying that this movie is beneath dear old Stephen.
Or he's beneath it, or something or other. Yeah,
Or something.
I know it's
it just seems
it's
like
wrong.
it's
It's
rude.
just bad press. That's all. Anyway,
Agreed.
irrespective.
Irrespective.
Rolling
on.
Channels.
So the story takes place in the outback of Australia. Well, not the outback because the area is like Mad Max, if you will.
A bit like that.
If you get a three-dimensional picture out of this movie, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
So-
It's totally been trashed.
Yeah.
How's that? Well,
Any-
meteors.
Yeah,
Move on.
and the world is it's divided where water and power has complete control over the water supply,
Everything.
and anyone else who doesn't have water may have to result in scavenging or stealing water.
Yeah, that's
and
where
stuff like
Laurie
that.
Petty and her little guys come in. They're living outside as fringe dwellers, and they're tapping into the water supply.
Yeah. So Rebecca, or Tank Girl, because Rebecca is her normal name.
Well, that's true. Rebecca or something or other.
Yes, so her name's Rebecca.
Rebecca something, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's Tank Girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she is lives with a bunch of other kids and young adults, and she has a friend named Sam who's a bit of a sculptor.
A young girl, probably about 12, 13.
Yeah,
12,
when
14.
I first saw this movie back in the 1995, I used to thought that Sam was her sister. That's what I used to think. But at the time, then now we watched it again and again. I worked out that they're not related. Maybe
They're just very good friends.
Just-
They're living in a bit of a commune type thing because everyone,
was living close.
well, living in one place, they're looking after each other. So yeah, which is what one would do in that sort of situation, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
I just thought maybe that because they were so close. And anyway, moving on. So Water and Power finds out about them stealing water, and they want it.
They want the water, so they want to close them down.
Yeah, so they come and attack. They kill all the members of the commune, including her
Boyfriend.
Rebecca's boyfriend,
And-
and abducted Sam, of course.
And Rebecca.
And Rebecca, of course. I don't know what happened to anyone else. Maybe they got
I think they got killed.
killed or
Yeah.
taken. Who knows?
Well,
Anyway.
they thought Laurie Petty, Tank Girl, Rebecca, whatever, was interesting and tough and everything, and the boss wanted to meet her.
Yeah. Anyway.
And Sam was a cute little girl. No, I don't know. They had plans for her, maybe.
Yeah, nasty ones. I'm not gonna say it just yet.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Actually, I will mention later on, but there's something. There's a cameo in there.
So anyway, back to the story. So the boss meets her and he wants her to become a member of Water and Power.
He wants to break her.
Yeah, but she turns him down and he ends up forcing her to work in a mine.
Yeah.
That's what we were discussing earlier about the mines that were mentioned in this movie.
Tell you what, one thing about girl power, she didn't take any crap, pardon the language, from this guy. And no matter what happened, she was like, I'm in control, no one's going to tell me what to do, yada, yada, yada. And she took on everybody and she comes up winning, which is great.
Yeah. They try to break her a couple of times here and there. Try to lock her in solitary confinement in a cooler in a real fridge.
A real fridge, real cooler.
Well, not real fridge, just for the movie.
No, yeah, well, it's cold. Look cold to me.
Uh-huh.
And a water tube.
Yes.
And what else?
And, well,
I can't
that's
remember.
all I can think of at the moment.
And a beater up.
Yes.
Yeah, beater up a lot.
Anyway,
A lot.
she befriends an ex-pilot and engineer named Jet.
Yeah, which is Naomi Watts.
And according to the comic, her name is Jet Girl.
What a good name.
One of. So anyway, soon enough the bad guys come with they have another problem. They have these Ripper creatures that are trying to take water and at the same time cause a little trouble and mischief here and there.
Yeah.
And they're like mutant kangaroos, I said, and
They're a cross between a human being and a kangaroo.
and when you first
Except for one of them, Booger.
and when you first see them, at first they look like something out of Alien, because of the way.
Yeah, and Predator and stuff, because that had the armour on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel when I look at this.
When you take all the armour off, they're wearing ordinary clothes, but they got weird heads and weird hands and weird feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, they offer Tank Girl or Rebecca the chance of going into their lair and hopefully staking out the Ripper's possible habitat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go according to plan, and we have a lot of Rippers tearing all the soldiers apart.
Yeah, very much so.
And only Jet and Rebecca are left alive.
And guess what? They met the Rippers.
No, they don't. Not yet, you dummy.
Later.
That's
Sorry.
later, dummy.
My mistake.
So anyway, so they decide not to go back to. Well, they can't really decide because technically Rebecca was never part of Water and Power, so there's no point in going back.
No.
Yes. So Rebecca takes a tank, therefore, and starts learning to ride it.
Or drive it.
Or drive it. And there is a few throughout some bits of this movie. You see a few comic book animations in this.
Yeah,
movie.
they do a couple of what is it? Steampunk? What is
Yeah,
it?
steampunk.
What sort of stuff is it? Is that-
Steampunk comic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really good.
Yeah.
I think it's probably taken out of the original comic books, but maybe not the original drawings.
Most likely. Anyway, it's all the stuff that they couldn't probably possibly make, create.
They want the comic book feel to it. Possibly.
Yeah, or maybe just try to do those scenes, but without having to not worrying about the special effects behind it.
Possibly.
My theory, anyway.
And also more fun.
Eventually, they come to a weird person's place, and this woman is weird, and they find a statue that was carved by Sam there, and they kind of suit up their tanks and Jet's plane.
Yeah, she stole a plane.
Yeah, and they try to make it. They paint it. They decorated it up. And looks.
They made it theirs.
Yes, and I gotta admit, I do like Tank Girl's tank in this.
That was
next
a real
scene.
tank.
Really?
Yeah, the real tank, and they modified it for the movie. Yeah. I got the details for later on, but
That is cool. So anyway, it's a really good makeover scene for this one. It's a bit of a mixture of the comic books in that scene.
They certainly did it well.
Yes,
Excuse
and a
me.
few clever shots, around the tank itself.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Come on, roll on.
Okay, so anyway, they figured out where Sam is, sort of a liquid silver type
It's
brothel.
It's a brothel entertainment place. Guys would go there and hang out.
Yeah.
And there are lots of pretty girls there.
Yeah, so they're there to enjoy women and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, it's run by this horrible woman her title is named Madam. Right, isn't that right?
Yes, Madam, whatever her name is. Yeah.
And she then gets one of her servants. One of the women says that there's this guy who wants to have a schoolgirl fantasy.
For a real schoolgirl.
Ugh. And she decides to get Sam in this.
Now,
sort of.
the next scene, you see Sam dressed up as a schoolgirl, and this lecherous guy, trying to
What?
do whatever.
Ugh.
And that was Iggy Pop. Told you about the cameo appearance. Iggy Pop's in it for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and
he gets a sore hand, doesn't he? Yeah.
He gets a silver sphere, and unknown to him, it's actually a weapon.
Yeah, if you do a whistle or do something,
Or just clap your hands.
These blades come out and it impales straight through his hand, and he wasn't a happy chappy. No.
Anyway, meanwhile, Rebecca and Jet, they get dressed up. There's even an interesting dressing up scene where Tank Girl is dressing up in it.
Yeah.
I should mention, she had 18 costumes in this movie, so I just thought you should know.
She's like your sister as she goes out. Yeah.
Yes, and soon enough she puts on an outfit, and she's about to probably scrape off the makeup off the madam because she was.
Yeah, she threatened to take her makeup off. This will take an awful long time, maybe. But anyway, she made her sing a song.
Yeah, and you won't guess what this song is. Well, it's called "Let's Do It" by Cole Porter. You never imagined Cole Porter being in this, would
Well,
you?
anything's possible.
Yeah, anyway, she does it because she's annoyed that Sam was being taken advantage of.
Yeah, the funny part is that she starts singing, and then you got everybody in the place starts singing, and then you got the soldiers out the front door, wherever, and one of the guys says, "What's that?" And the other guy says, "Oh, it's another Cole Porter, sir." Yeah, right, okay.
I certainly liked Rebecca's take on this song. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, a big like Busby Berkeley sort of musical type thing from the way back when. Really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, loved it.
But eventually the soldiers arrive and they take Sam back with them on their jets and stuff.
Yeah.
And I should mention the bad guy, the main bad guy. He got injured when the Rippers attacked earlier, and somehow he went in under surgery under the knife, and it's very unusual how he's in this scene.
He's got a mechanical left arm with weapons on it.
Yeah.
He's got a hologram head, and who knows what else.
Yeah. I hate to think. So anyway, Rebecca and Jet have only one place to go to next. To
beach.
Find the Rippers, and hopefully they might be able to help them.
Well, yeah, because they think, I think Rebecca said something like,
they're an army.
They're an army. We need an army.
And we need an army.
Let's have a talk to them.
Yes.
What a wonderful idea. Yeah.
So they go and try to find the place. They find it the crazy lady they met earlier said a specific location, right?
Yeah, next to these two boulders or something
Rocks
or other.
or something.
And they went there and said, I can't find anything, and
they soon
straight down through the sand. Yeah.
Soon enough, they do get attacked, but they don't get hurt or anything. But they do get drugged here and there. It was a bit funny, and the Rippers are really taken by the ladies, except for one Ripper who's actually
no female Rippers. You see.
Yeah, they're actually really friendly.
They're nice guys,
including one. What's his name? I think that takes a liking to Rebecca.
Oh, Booger, he used to be a dog.
Yeah.
They upgraded to human status.
He's kind of adorable
He's sweet.
in a goofy kind of
He's
way.
funny.
Or goofy or Snoopy kind of way.
Yeah, well, Snoopy, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, not Snoop Doggy Dog. I mean Snoopy like as in
Your peanuts, yeah.
Scooby-Doo Snoopy.
What? What? What do you mean Scooby-Doo? You mean peanuts? Yeah, Charlie Brown's dog Snoopy?
No, not that one.
No,
I mean, not Snoopy. I'm sorry. I meant Scooby-Doo.
it's Scooby-Doo. Yeah, whatever.
Fun,
Okay.
weird.
Where are you? Over here.
Sorry, I kind of got my my pop culture mixed up there. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay,
Anyway,
you want a Scooby snack now?
shut up.
Okay.
So, anyway, he's taken by her, and they decide to combine their resources, but they first put Jet and Rebecca in a little bit of a test. They need to find out what kind of weapons are at a certain, construction site and find that.
All the trucks are being bought in there.
Yeah.
So they go out there and try to prove their loyalty to the Rippers. And
Yeah,
and blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah, they're given transmitters, and the Rippers have these big ears so they can be able to hear probably many miles of way what they're doing.
Exactly. And you can hear a flea fart from 100 miles away. Yeah.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, Ice-T is playing one of the Rippers, I think.
And he plays a good role.
Yeah, he's pretty cute for a
Yeah.
Ripper.
Oh, Ripper. Actually, didn't you say something about that someone interviewed him once and said, why the hell do you do a movie like that? And he said something like, I got paid a lot of money for it. How much are you getting paid? Yeah, something like that. Which
Yeah.
is, hey, why not? It's all about the money,
Well,
folks.
this is what he says. Ice-T recalls one interview on a hip-hop show where the host made fun of him for doing Tank Girl. He replied, I was paid so-and-so amount for that movie. And the host moved on.
Yeah.
Meaning, I think he's got to shut up.
It can be about the money,
it
not about
can
the
be.
art.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's not all... I mean, I don't think that Tank Girl is all that bad when I look at it.
No. Anyway, carry on.
So, anyway, so they prove themselves, and they soon grow to respect each one another. There is also a scene that MGM, who didn't want to have in this movie, that they didn't want Rebecca having sex with one of the kangaroo guys. They thought that was too much.
Well, he's not really a kangaroo, though, is he?
No, they just thought it was just going over that.
Bestiality sort of stuff,
Yeah, they
Sodom and Gomorrah,
Yeah, after all, this may not be a family movie, but it's not. It's sort of a cross between an action sci-fi movie and
a bit of comedy thrown
and
in.
a bit of comedy, and no doubt you don't necessarily need that bit in the middle.
Well, there wasn't. That's the whole point. They didn't actually have it, and I think really their relationship was allowed to grow through the movie because once we found the Rippers were actually human beings who had been mutated, they're actually human, not animals. So
true.
that way you see that their friendship bond going into relationship mode was accessible by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, as they were trying to open up the crates to find out if any particular weapons they found, they find out that they're empty. The boxes are empty.
It's a setup.
And that inside one of them was actually the dead remains of their creator, who
Johnny
made
Prophet.
Yeah.
What a great name, Prophet.
Well, it makes sense. He kind of believed in a lot of interesting things, and he
Yeah.
taught them a lot of things. And another thing about this is that when they were trying to create them, the Rippers, Johnny Prophet was forced to kill them, but he liked them too
told
much.
to kill them, so he kept them, looked after them, and hid them away from the military.
Yeah, see, Water and Power were looking for the ultimate killing machine.
And these guys weren't bad,
Well, they're not killers. They're just...
but they were soldiers. They
Yeah.
could actually fight quite well.
Yeah, they did.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, they didn't really fight with guns or anything like that.
No, they didn't use weapons. They used to use their bare hands
Or their bare feet.
and their bare feet.
Or their tail.
Or, no, kangaroo feet. Anyway,
Anyway, they then decide to try to invade Water and Power by painting the Jet's plane back to its original colours.
yeah, military colours.
Yeah, and sneak in there. And hope to get another sort of what do they call it? A code.
A code. Like in Star Wars, they cruise around trying to get a code to get onto the Death Star.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of that thing. So anyway, they're told they could do this, but when they try to put this in practice mode, it doesn't go according to plan, did it?
No, not
But
really,
it doesn't stop the bad guys from not seeing through their plan, but they were able to enter. But it was part of the bad guys' plan to get them where they want them.
Yeah, because we found out later on in the movie that Rebecca had been bugged.
Yeah.
So no matter wherever she went, they knew exactly where she was. They knew what she was doing, what she was saying, and she was there.
See, they had one of those those bugging darts, and they kind of shot it in her leg, and that kind of sprouted. I guess that bug was still activated.
Instead of just monitoring her whereabouts, like a GPS, it must have had some other things as well.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, they got that. So they eventually go to this place. They shut off all the lights because they realized the Rippers they want to attack at nighttime or the darkness because it's more effective that way.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the Rippers gets killed. Kind of sad when you think about
one
it.
or two, a couple, whatever.
A few, but I just meant the one who tried to turn off all the lights.
Ice-T got snuffed. I'm going to that great big gig in the sky.
He was very interesting.
He liked his jazz and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yes, at least there's something in common with him. Anyway, so Rebecca goes in search for Sam, who's in a special pipe that's being flooded with water. I should mention.
Yeah, glug, 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 glug.
Yeah, meaning any moment now she'll probably be drowning in the water.
Yes. Hey, first bath she's had for a long time.
Yeah, true. So anyway, but then she faces off the bad guy who, as it turns out, has made a few alternate changes to his life.
Yeah.
Including making his head into a hologram, as we said.
Yeah, so he's more than the man he used to be.
Yeah, but it doesn't...
Tough adversary.
Yeah, it doesn't stop Rebecca from fighting him and beating him.
And she won. You know how she did it?
Don't want to tell you.
Huh?
Don't tell him.
Oh, you can't tell. Yeah.
Well, it's throughout this movie, they had this weird device that sucks the
water out of you.
Water.
Yeah. It's all like a collapsible plastic cup with some needles on the end of it, and you shove it into somebody, and you'll draw all the usable water type moisture out of the body.
Didn't you tell me once before a while back that in our blood we do have water in our blood when we die?
No, I didn't say. I'm talking about plasma. That was plasma and stuff. No,
plasma.
What I'm saying, what I said to you before is, we have got so much moisture in us, blood, body fluids of different descriptions, and other chemicals floating around fluids. We do have a lot of fluids in it, but what that machine does is just take out the water molecules.
Okay.
And leaves the other stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
So, by the look of it, it looked like the blood is transforming into water. But as you said, Mike, you seem to know what you're talking about there.
Oh, I was very good at biology at school.
So anyway,
that's how you got made.
Yeah. So anyway, Rebecca takes a special device and thrusts it into his chest, and that sucks out all the blood and all the moisture inside his body, and drains him and kills him. Supposedly.
He wasn't very well up there, was he? No, dead. No, okay.
Yes.
So, he short-circuited too, didn't he?
Yes, it kind of cut off his hologram.
Yeah, with the water. Was it water? Is it a splash of water as well?
Yeah.
Short-circuited him a little bit. Yeah.
Well, it's not going to last.
Well, yeah. You had to go to Radio Shack and get some more batteries, you know.
So anyway, Rebecca soon finds Sam and gets her out of the pipe. And before long, some soldiers appear, and we think it's going to be the end for Rebecca, but it's actually one of the Rippers, her boyfriend, what's his name? Booger, said he took the bullets out of their guns. And
he's really dozy, but he's clever.
Yeah, and she gives him a smooching kiss. Yeah. Who says you can't use that sort of thing for this movie?
There was no sex.
Nope. Anyway,
we move. Almost sex to the baby. Yes. Liquid silver.
Yeah. Then we move to fade in onto a cartoon scene where the water they release from the tanks and starts making a river, and they start surfing on it, and
Anyway, just cartoon crap.
cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the end.
The end. Everyone happy ever after. Yeah, whatever. Now.
Yeah, but I know for a fact they must have released all the water in there in order to flood the earth.
No, I don't think that.
Well, maybe not.
It would have gone straight back in the ground. Everyone died of thirst. I mean, the idea of water and power is a good idea, but it was too it was controlled by a nasty man.
Agreed. There's no rain according to
Well, you had
that
no rain
world.
for how many years was it?
Yeah, so many years.
Yeah, a bit like Mad Max sort of stuff. Yeah.
As I said before, it's sort of taken from. Well, not taken from
Post-apocalyptic type movie. How's that?
Yeah, considering that it's taken from the idea of Mad Max world, but not. Well, it's still part of the Tank Girl series.
Yeah.
And not to, just so you guys know, I know that I've probably mentioned it once or twice to you guys in the past that this is a superhero movie of sorts, and
I suppose it is in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's
Girl
from
power, superhero.
Yeah, and I know I'm not big. I'm not. A lot of people probably know this fact that I'm not a big fan of superhero movies because there's too many out there.
Yeah, too many. She doesn't like the Marvel movies because there's been too many of them.
Yeah, it's just
not that bad. There's just too many.
It's just that I mean, I'm satisfied with a number of ones, but then when you start doing more and more of the same over and over, it loses the whole objectivity of the actual story.
Ooh, that's a big word. Anyway, now, okay, I'm going to go through a couple of little note type things here. When I'm trying to get this idea floated, the idea was bounced around different production companies and studios. Nobody wanted to touch it. And somewhere on the line, Disney said made an offer, and they actually turned Disney down, thinking it wouldn't actually, with the amount of violence and sexual reference in it, Disney would not have made it in the end anyway.
Yeah,
so,
just the other day I found out that...
But MGM took it up.
Yeah, just a while back I found out that Disney made a horror movie. Yes, folks, they made a horror for...
That was a Watcher in the Woods, was it?
Yeah, Watcher in the Woods, if you haven't heard.
And it didn't get any good press, and I know why. I haven't seen it yet, but everyone's expecting Disney to make a nice, wholesome family movie, and along comes a horror movie that Mum and Dad aren't going to take the kids to see.
Who wouldn't want to?
And the people who know, it's made by Disney who like horror movies, saying it mustn't be that good because Disney make because they do family movies. So again, it gets down to what I said before. If you don't market things properly, no one's going to go see it. And I haven't seen it yet. And actually, it must have been good enough because I've made a remake of it recently. So yeah. Anyway, irrespective.
Or maybe they just wanted to make it better.
Well,
that's a possibility.
Can be,
remakes can do that.
Yeah, but irrespective, the point is Disney had to go, and Disney's always been good at making movies. It's just they changed the genre too much, and people just didn't go to the pictures.
Yeah.
They didn't go to the theatre to have a look and check it out.
And it had a disappointing in the box office amount.
I know, yeah. What's fun, but I think what the biggest problem was, they changed the ending to make it a little bit soft, so it wasn't really bad. It had several alternate endings. They chose a more placid one, which takes away from the climax. So what do you do?
I don't know.
See, even the big guys make mistakes.
True. I mean, I think it's probably it's probably not the director's fault, but he's probably either the screenwriter or the director, whoever worked in Disney, probably thought, I'm stuck in doing a right, so I have to do the endings Disney's way.
Oh, yeah, but Disney didn't do this movie.
I know.
Okay, I just say talking in general.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just meant that Disney with them, they often try to make it the ending
warm and fluffy.
Resolving.
A warm
good
and
ending.
fluffy ending for a family movie. Yeah, I mean, they did do some good movies like The Black Hole and different things. I mean, they did make some good thingies, sci-fis. They did Tron, for crying out loud.
Hey, it's a family movie.
I know, but they didn't have any really nasty stuff happening. It just action and sci-fi.
Yes.
So yeah, but Disney make really fun movies.
Yeah. So anyway, as I was Now
I
moving
should
back.
say Buena Vista, hey.
Yeah, another thing about our leading lady. What's her name again? Who played Tank Girl?
Laurie Petty.
Yeah, Laurie also starred in another movie that we watched last night. What was it?
Route 666.
And it was released in year 2001. We'll be covering that one in the next review.
In another review. But see, same sort of personality. So I'm just wondering what if Laurie Petty is something like Tank Girl, but Tank Girl's just a little bit more over the top. Because
I'm just
in this other movie, she's got the similar personality.
Yeah, I'm just amazed the directors or the casting director or whoever is doing the auditioning didn't pick that up.
What do you mean?
Well, if that's both her characters in that movie and in Tank Girl, they see her as a sassy, very smart kind of person. Why didn't the directors pick that up when they were auditioning her? And instead
because an open auditions, anyone can come along and try out. That is why. And she was just an also-ran who went to the thingy wingy.
Yeah. I mean, just remember, guys, I did mention to you guys that she wasn't their first choice. They were second choice.
No, there was what's the name? Something Lloyd. They had a lady, an English actress called Emily Lloyd, lined up for the role, and for one reason or other, they changed her over for Laurie Petty. And one of the reasons I got written down here, I found out that they thought the lady who's actually the producer, director, the director liked her because she is crazy in her own life, and the film needed someone like that. How's that?
Was she that crazy?
Well, she must have met her. Yeah, well, anyway, so there's something about Laurie's bubbly, outward-going personality made her suitable for the role that she wanted to give in this movie.
Yeah, same as like when I was auditioning for my Attack of the Cat People, where if you guys haven't seen the trailer yet, I advise just check it out all the same. Where I was looking for my leading lady, I was looking for something nice and eye candy and very
a good actress.
And when I met my leading lady, I thought
straight away magic. Yeah, she's a beautiful lady.
Yeah.
Actually, just getting back onto the actors in this show, Malcolm McDowell. They selected him for the role because he's very good in that sort of stuff.
He's good at sinister. He can pull it off.
He's very good, and he enjoyed working on the movie. And he praised the director and Laurie Petty because for their input into the movie.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the girl who played Jet, she was not really too.
Naomi Watts.
Yeah, she wasn't too thrilled doing this role.
A job's a job, and she had fun. Possibly.
Maybe.
Anyway, this movie was filmed in 16 weeks. That's not too bad.
Wow.
In 3 locations. The desert scenes were in New Mexico. Liquid Silver Club, where the up-class brothel was an abandoned shopping mall in Phoenix.
Wow.
And the remaining scenes were filmed within 40 miles of Tucson, Arizona. There you go. How about that?
Agreed.
So they kept it simple. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing about this movie. It's they have it. Well, they captured it, and I don't understand why so many people have given it a bad review. I mean, did you find out if Rotten Tomato, what did they think?
I'll get on there in a minute. We're talking about the other stuff in a moment.
Yeah.
Actually, getting on to the Ripper costumes, the initial designs, they had ideas of having full animal heads. But someone came along with the idea that we wanted to make them more human-like because they're supposed to be half human, half animal. So they've actually made the faces almost human, of animal characteristics, and motorized ears and stuff, obviously. So, so they wanted to make them almost like human beings. And I think the makeup guys, prosthetics and everything worked really good. I think they really got onto it. with the concept wise. They said, yes, we got that. Have to be humanish.
Yeah.
Borderline human, sort of, fringe dwellers.
Yeah. Unlike this other movie, you guys probably heard of this movie when they did the Hedgehog Sonic, and I've heard so many people complain about when the first trailer came out. You guys noticed at once how much human Sonic Hedgehog was in the trailer, and you thought, oh my gosh, he didn't even look anything like him.
Here's something for you. I just found it in the effects part here. Of the they contacted different special effects people and makeup guys and blah 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 blah, and they got this guy called Stan Winston. And they got he was involved with the Terminator, Aliens, Jurassic Park, and they approached him, but they thought, well, he probably won't want to do this because it's too small for him. And in the end, he wanted to do it, and he actually cut his fees in half to help them out.
Okay.
Now, isn't that, see, there can be some nice people in the industry.
It's a good thought. It's a nice thought that he's willing to set that.
Well, you like the challenge as well, and the creativity side. So he said, well, we'll cut the budget down, our cost down a little bit, and he made the Rippers what we saw in a movie.
Yeah,
Perfect.
well, for those of you guys who haven't seen the comics, they're actually when you look
they're
at
more animal. Yeah, they're more.
No, they're not more animal. They look exactly like the ones we just seen in the actual movie.
Did we?
Yes, they're
Sure.
look like part human, part kangaroo.
Well, I'll take your word for it. I saw some pictures there that had animal heads, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't think I'm talking anything more about special effects or anything.
Anyway, before I go on, I go back to the Sonic the Hedgehog I mentioned. When they were doing that movie, doing the animation, people complained about it, and this got the animation crew
Had to go and fix it up,
to
didn't
go
they?
back and fix it up. I mean, unlike this movie, that movie, they wanted something close enough to be, believable and part of the Sonic the Hedgehog's look. With this, it's it's sort of sticking to what the Rippers may look like in the comics.
Yep. Anyway, now bit of post-production information there. Yeah, there was a naked Ripper suit.
Oh boy, that's where I mentioned earlier where they said about in the past.
Booger was supposed to be wearing it.
I told you about that.
And they cut that scene from the movie for obvious reasons.
I mentioned that already.
I know. I'm just going for a few things here.
They said something about MGM refuses to do a shot of them naked, doing it.
Yeah, like a bit animal lust. Yeah, it just wouldn't work. There's another bit here. They were going to show a picture of some film footage of Tank Girl's bedroom, but they had a lot of sexual paraphernalia hanging up on the walls and everything. I won't describe what it is. I might get taken off the air. So they had different things they had to sort of judiciously just take out because it was not going to add to the movie and it might have actually closed the movie down. Quite funny, but you think about it.
But you got to admit, Mike, that I mentioned that earlier that if they did do that sex scene, it would not really add to the movie. I mean, it's pretty clear that Bugger, the kangaroo, had feelings for Rebecca,
and Rebecca was starting to get feelings for him, but it wasn't. It wasn't necessary for the storyline. And that's what bugs me so much. There's gratuitous sex scenes thrown in or something rather. For no reason.
I do remember in one scene where they're just lying on the floor, staring up at the ceiling with this mural painting, and I thought that was the most romantic and touching. I mean, not touching, but touching moment in the movie.
Yeah, and it was really touching. It was really nice, and that's sort of As one where you lay down there in the grass, look at the clouds and daydream together, that sort of stuff, and that's what they're doing with it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, something nice instead of trashy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great for change because, like I said before, I hate gratuitous sex scenes thrown into a movie just for the sake of doing a sex scene. It doesn't add to the story. And so why do you put it in? If it's supposed to be in there and it works, yes, by all means, put it in.
Yeah, it was pretty clear from the get-go that they were a couple. You don't need to.
And he was a nice guy.
You don't need to translate it to the people in the audience too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, I often think Tank Girl and the actress who portrayed her,
Laurie.
Yeah, she reminds me of, not in so much the same way, but she reminds me of a little bit of Elvira. Very sassy and knows how to...
In control.
And is in control of the male species.
Well, no one got in up close and personal with her.
No, but you got to admit that they do have some things in common when you think about these two movies. When you look at these two actresses,
personality-wise, they're in control of their destiny. Yeah.
And as I said before, guys, while I may not be into a lot of comic books, there are probably a few I'm going to probably review later on. But as I said before, I won't review a lot of comic book movies, guys. I'm very particular when it comes to comic books.
See, that's like Marvel comics.
I don't hate them, Mike. You're being you're telling the wrong end of it. I just meant that it's been going too long, and there's got to be an end point with Marvel when it comes to it. I mean, I still don't like the idea that they made their own studio up.
I want to see the Green Archer. I want to see the Martian Manhunter.
I mean,
were they Marvel or DC?
Anyway, I just meant that there's going to be an end point, and this thing can't go on forever. I mean, Hammer did it for as long as they can, but there's had an ending point.
Yeah. Now, critical reception. You all talk about Rotten Tomatoes and everything.
It's just lucky that Hammer just happened to make more than just horror movies.
They made other good movies too.
Yes.
And TV series. And whatever. Okay. Website, Rotten Tomatoes. People vote through there, and they got a half mix. Okay. A lot of people thought was good, but didn't think it was that strong. Okay. Metacritic, same sort of thing. Mixed or average reviews. But when you get down to the personal guys, the film critics and BBC and Creative Loafing and other different places, they're rather cynical and nasty. They're almost like trolls saying, well, I gave it a 1 because I don't like this sort of movie sort of attitude. And that's not a fair critique.
No, it's practically saying, I know I mentioned this in the past, guys, but a lot of reviewers just throw out any theories about the film. They just say, I hate it, there is the end to it. Or just, hey, I hate one scene and I won't even ask you guys to watch it.
Yeah. To review a movie, if you're going to be a professional reviewer, you should sit down there and do pros and cons, not cons. Okay? You sit around there and say, I can bag the crap out of any movie I like because I'm getting paid for it. It's not a really good answer.
No. I think that whenever I do mention this in the past, that I often think these reviewers just sit in the movie because they don't like this movie, because they don't like this sort of movie, and they just make a bad review about it and think that everyone will take it as gospel.
Well, okay, here's one. The BBC gave the film 1 out of 5 stars, saying, sadly, the BBC does not pay out for one-word reviews.
No, brother.
If it did, this review would read simply tiresome. Obviously, the critic doesn't like that sort of movie.
That was a pointless review.
I know. Yeah. Grow up, get a life, or get a new reviewer. Yeah. Well, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but certainly doesn't deserve the baggage that some of these what do you call them?
Baggage.
Critics say. I mean, I hate critics. Half of them are they're so wrapped up in their own agenda and say, I only like so and so type movies, so I'm going to bag this one. No, be fair. Pick it apart a little bit in a positive way and say, hey, good acting, good filming, good storyline. I don't like that sort of movie, however I can see where they're going with it. I gave it, at least 5 out of 10, not 1 out of 10 or something. That's a lot of rubbish.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
there's some good things in this movie. There's adventure, there is some
Comedy?
comedy,
Sci-fi?
and a lot of people would tell you that it displays certain things that the modern culture had in
Yeah.
its time.
I mean, people could say the same thing about something like Indiana Jones. If you didn't like that sort of movie, they give it 1 out of 10. Yeah. Now I like Indiana Jones. I like what Spielberg does. He's really good. But the point is, it depends who the critic is, and I don't like critics. I don't mind Rotten Tomatoes so much because they're people of actually voting, going on their site, giving their critiques, same as Metacritic and stuff. But these people write for the newspapers and magazines and whatever. Yeah, they're a waste of space.
Well,
This is not a bad movie. It's not the
Yeah.
greatest movie of all, but it's a damn fine movie.
I guess
Yeah.
these days a lot of people. I often question reviewing, and I often question, do they do any of them who write the reviews think that maybe writing something good is like just writing a puff piece?
Well, if I write something nice about it, no one's going to like my article.
Yeah.
If I'm really nasty and caustic and everything else, people are going to say, "Yeah, put the boot in." No, that's a troll. You know, and we don't like trolls.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even. I mean, I do question reviewers. Like, when you do a bad review, will this give the audiences a chance to watch it, or will the audience refuse to watch it?
So I remember a movie that Alfred Hitchcock made many years ago called Psycho. The studio didn't want to touch it. Alfred Hitchcock supposedly had to bankroll himself. When he finished the movie, the studio said, we're going to only let it release in 3 theatres.
Yeah.
And we're still watching it today.
Yeah, it's the same with Rob Zombie's 1,000 Corpses in the movie, where the studio didn't want to touch the movie, and so Zombie had to fund it himself.
There you go then. And look, I don't like Rod Zombie movies. However, he's having a go, isn't he? So, yeah.
Well, it's just that it goes to show that what you know in your culture can
and
turn into something wonderful.
Do you know how that went
later
down?
on. What?
The House of 1,000 Corpses. Do you know how that was received? Or
I'll have to do
look.
a bit of a check and get back to you on that one.
See, a lot of people like horror and slasher movies and other things.
I think it's just
and sci-fi and action. No one wants a drama every 5 minutes of the day.
Yeah.
They want to get something the blood going and stuff.
yeah.
And,
I mean, I've mentioned it
yeah.
once or twice that people want to see something that's new.
yeah, exactly right. Something different instead of, oh, here we go. I've got a runaway child, or my wife's disappeared, or my husband's disappeared. You know, I've done it before. You know,
Been there, done that, move on.
Yeah, get another topic, get another theme. And a different take is not the same thing. Oh, this one's different. Instead of being California, it's been set in San Francisco. Not a big difference. It's just another town, city, whatever. You know, it's it's just wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to rate this movie now?
Yeah.
Okay.
9.5 out of 10.
I'm going to rate it 10 out of 10.
I forgot to say, great musical score for it too.
I
They got
agree.
a lot of good music. You know, if you like music, good backing.
Yeah.
I think you can buy the backing tracks too.
I do like the music myself
Yeah.
too.
I think it came out on Blu-ray too. You might be able to get copies of it. So yeah, it's been still around, I believe, and you still get on Blu-ray. Well, you're going to get on Blu-ray now, so yeah, you'll get a good copy.
Yes. Anyway, I guess that's about it for us. So
I know we go off on tangents about bad reviewers, but we
just get annoyed with the fact that they make a living out of
being
bagging
nasty
a
and being
movie.
negative about everybody.
Even though
It's
I
wrong.
keep reminding myself they're human.
No, they're not. They're critics.
I just mean that they're human men. They have tastes, and when it's a movie that they don't really is not really their interest, they then bag it because they've been forced to watch it.
Yeah,
That's my theory.
and that's wrong. I mean, they could. A long time ago, I'll just change the subject just a minute. We had a music scene in Australia, reasonably, not too bad. And then they did something. They actually banned imported music. And then the local musicians started to do copies of the overseas music because it wasn't being played on the radio here. Now, back in those days, there was a guy called Molly Meldrum, who was a very big mover and shaker in the Australian music industry. Now, it's told back in those days that if Molly Meldrum liked what you were doing, you had a career. If he didn't like you, you didn't have a career. Now, I don't know how much truth is in that. I don't know how much power Molly Meldrum had, but he was a big mover and shaker. So, yeah, if he liked it, you're pretty all set for a good ride. So, some of these guys here, a bad press can kill a good director,
Or kill
good
them.
actor, whatever, and I'm sorry,
Yeah.
they shouldn't do it. They shouldn't have that power.
No, it's not right. I mean, have been with with actors and directors, famous and independent, and
Yeah.
I do think that they show a lot of energy in the room when it comes to actually making a film.
Oh yeah, a good film in many cases. A lot of independents make good movies. This one was sort of independent to a
A certain degree, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was a good movie for what it was for that period. This meant back in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's about it for us today.
All
So,
right, I'm finished.
so
I'll keep
next
talking a
time
lot otherwise.
you'll be seeing us. We'll be reviewing this other movie that.
Route 666.
Yes.
That's a horror movie. Yay!
Yeah, we kind of watched a double feature last night.
And Laurie P's in it.
Yay.
Yay!
And she's sassy. Yay!
Yay!
So
Same
that's
sort of personality.
yay.
Yay!
So this is Sarah Stephenson
And Michael Stephenson.
telling you, see you around.
Bye, guys.